This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Alright, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, it's April 4th, it's Wednesday. Let's see, what do we got going on today? Didn't mention the Brandon Cooks trade yesterday because of the fact that it happened after I taped the show. So we'll be talking about that today. Let's see, what else we got going on? We got NBA games from yesterday to recap. Cavs are playing well. Might talk about that. RG3 is back in the league. We'll definitely talk about that. And we're going to talk a bit. I think we'll talk a bit about the Patriots too. So we got a bunch of different topics we're going to go over. We also got Champions League to talk about. Liverpool pretty much destroyed Manchester City. Up 3-0 right now as I'm recording. This game should be over by the time I get done with this segment. But either way, Liverpool playing great. Barcelona took care of business, winning 4-1. I believe they've already won 4-1, actually. So we'll see. Talk about that, too. And pretty much, I guess, anything else going on in sports. We got a lot to go on. A lot to talk about today, all right? But either way, we're going to start off. Let's start off with the basketball games from yesterday. We're going to recap. Second segment, we'll talk about Cooks. And then we'll figure out which topics I want to choose from to talk about for the third segment. So let's get into it. First up, we had the Boston Celtics facing off with the Milwaukee Bucks. And Milwaukee won this one, 106-102. For the Celtics, you had Al Horford with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 6 of 9. Jason Tatum had 20 points, shot 5 of 13, 3 of 8 from the three-point line. Aaron Baines had 12 points, 4 rebounds. You had Jaylen Brown, who had 24 points, 4 rebounds, shot 9 of 15 there. And then off the bench, you had Marcus Morris with 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 4 of 16, 1 of 6 from the three-point line. And then Greg Monroe against his old team had 9 points, 10 rebounds, shot 4 of 9 there. For the Bucks, you had Giannis Antetokounmpo with 29 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 11 of 22. Chris Middleton had 20 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, shot 7 of 13. Eric Bledsoe had 18 points, 4 assists, shot 8 of 9. And then off the bench, you had Jabari Parker with 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 10 there. All right. With this game right here, I was watching it, and it's just a matter of Celtics started Kadeem Allen. He didn't really do much. I think he had 2 points in this one. He had 2 points, 4 fouls, 2 assists, shot 1 of 4, so didn't really do well there. But I guess this is a nice little win for the Bucks because of the fact that you're trying to make up seeding and all that, trying to finish as the 7th or 6th seed. And I think as of right now, they're currently the 8th seed, so let's see about it. I have to double check the standings. But either way, the Bucks did well to keep the Celtics away. All right. Bucks were up double digits, I think, at one point in the third. Fourth quarter comes, and the Celtics were just trying to claw back, but it's just a matter of they couldn't get that stop and then score right after. All right, so the Bucks did well to stay consistent and pretty much not let the Celtics gain that lead. So good on them. As for the Celtics, I mean, they really needed that win with the Raptors losing to Cleveland, which we'll be talking about next, because of the fact that if the Celtics would have won, tonight's game against the Raptors would have been for first. But either way, we'll see about it. And speaking of the Raptors, like I said, they faced off with the Cavs in Cleveland, and the Cavs won 112-106. For the Raptors, you had Serge Ibaka with 16 points, 12 rebounds, shot 6 of 14. Jonas Valanciunas had 17 points, 10 rebounds, shot 8 of 15. Kyle Lowry had 5 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 2 of 11, 1 of 7 from the three-point line. DeMar DeRozan had 19 points there, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 7 of 13. For the Cavs, you had Jeff Green with 12 points, shot 5 of 10 there. LeBron James had 27 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 8 of 14, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Kevin Love, he had 18 points, 15 rebounds, shot 4 of 8, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Jose Calderon had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 7 of 11. And then you had Rodney Hood with 17 points, shot 6 of 12, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Looking like the Cavs are going to be getting Tyronn Lue back to the bench on Thursday, so he'll be coaching them up again. And with the Cavs, they're starting to, I don't know. I think they are kind of starting to scare me again. It's looking like they're starting to get in that LeBron playoff mode right now. And I guess with the Cavs, it's just a matter of we shouldn't be. I think I might be the only one who's doing it, I guess, is underestimating Cleveland a bit because of the fact that they've just been very underwhelming this year. All right. If you look at the regular season as a whole, they just haven't looked good. Even when they had Kevin Love before he got hurt, they just never really looked good. And I don't think there's really been much of a difference since they made all those trades. I mean, now it's starting to look like they're starting to play better, but it's just a matter of I think LeBron is just starting to elevate his play a little bit more. But as far as the Cavs, they are looking a bit dangerous right now, but it's just a matter of I'm not sure if I could trust them right now. All right. Obviously, most people are going to have them making it to the finals because they don't see Toronto as a threat and don't see Boston as a threat. But it's just a matter of, I mean, what if they got to play Washington round one and Washington gives them a series? All right. And then they got to play maybe a Philly team or even a Boston team with Kyrie coming back. It's going to be tough, but either way, Cavs are looking good right now. As for the Raptors, it's kind of like as the season is coming to an end, they're starting to lose that hold. Maybe they could make it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, even the finals. All right. Kind of looking like the Raptors are starting to lose that little, how do you say? I don't want to say respect, but there was a point where I think the consensus was that the Raptors were the best team in the East, and now it's just a matter of it's probably the Cavs, or you could even say the Celtics when healthy. So either way, though, with the Raptors, they lost this game 106-112. Big win for the Cavs here, especially playing at home against a team like Toronto. And for Toronto, I think they're still currently up 2 games on Boston, so I don't know, they got a couple of tough games left, and Boston's got a pretty easy schedule. So, I mean, Toronto, if they lose tonight, maybe lose 2 more and Boston wins out. I think Boston has control of that 1 seed, but either way, we'll see about it. As for the next game, we have the Brooklyn Nets facing off with the Philadelphia 76ers, and Philly won this one, of course, 121-95. For the Nets, you had Damari Carroll with 10 points, shot 3 of 7. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson had 5 points in this one. Joe Harris had 13 points. Let's see, D'Angelo Russell had 6 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And then off the bench, you had Spencer Dinwiddie with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 4 of 11. Nick Stauskas had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 5 of 11. And then Jahlil Okafor versus his former team had 15 points, 5 rebounds, shot 7 of 9. Hit a 3. I did not know Jahlil Okafor could shoot threes, but either way, he hit 1 3, only took 1 3, played 16 minutes there. So pretty good game from him. For the Sixers, you had Aaron Ilyasova with 11 points, 13 rebounds. Robert Covington had 12 points, 6 rebounds, shot 4 of 11, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. Ben Simmons had 15 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. J.J. Redick had 19 points, 2 rebounds, shot 8 of 15, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. You had Markelle Fultz with 10 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 5 of 8. Rashawn Holmes had 11 points, 5 rebounds. Is it Richard Holmes or Rashawn? I think it's either one. T.J. McConnell had 10 points, and you had Marco Bellinelli with 17 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, shot 7 of 11. With Markelle Fultz, I think this is what we should expect for the rest of the season, including playoffs, for him to be around that kind of 10-point-a-game type guy, if that. Really, no one, if you're a Philly fan, if you're not a Philly fan, it doesn't matter. Don't expect much from Markelle Fultz. Don't expect him to drop 20 in a game or anything like that, okay? I think that's very unrealistic, and I think it's unfair to him. It's just a matter of, like, with Fultz this year, he can miss as many shots, like, pretty much, he could not hit a shot from here till whenever they lose in the playoffs, and I'm not going to knock him for it, all right? I'm not going to make any judgments about Markelle Fultz until next season, unless he just pretty much goes crazy and is dropping 20 a game. Unless he does something spectacular like that, I'm not going to judge his play at all this season. There's no reason to. For him, it's just a matter of, I guess, getting comfortable and being ready for next season. So, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it there. But either way, the Sixers won this one 121-95. Then we had the Miami Heat facing off with the Atlanta Hawks in Miami, and Miami got a bit of a scare in this one, but ended up pulling out the win, 101-98. For the Hawks, you had John Collins with 19 points, 10 rebounds, shot 7 of 14. And then you had Mike Muscala with 13.7 rebounds. For the Heat, you had James Johnson with 10 points, 6 assists, 4 of 11 shooting. Hassan Whiteside had 18 points, 12 rebounds, shot 7 of 13. Goran Dragic had 22 points, 10 rebounds, shot 9 of 14, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. And then you had Tyler Johnson with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 5 of 11, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. I think Pat Riley took over in the year 95, and this is the 18th time since then they made the playoffs, and I think that's the second most since that span. All right. Pat Riley is pretty much wherever he ends up, whoever he coaches, whoever he's running the front office for, that team turns to gold. All right. At one point, I think when he coached the Knicks, and the Knicks were actually a very respectable team. Like, they were actually a good team rather than just the overrated kind of team they are now. Let's see, when he was with the Lakers, I mean, he was coaching the Showtime Lakers at that time too. So like I said, Pat Riley, everywhere he goes, pretty much turns everything to gold. And as for the Heat, clinched the playoff spot, like I said. Now it's just a matter of where they're going to finish. I think right now they are the 6th seed. I'm going to have to double check that real quick just to see. Because the last time I checked, I think it was last night where the Wizards were the 7th spot and the Bucks were in the 8th spot. Let me see, double check. I got it right here. We got the Bucks in the 8th spot, Wizards in the 7th, and then the Heat in the 6th spot. All have the same record, though, so that is subject to change. And if I'm the Celtics, definitely do not want to see the Wizards in the first round. And that's a series I can see the Wizards winning, and I actually think I would pick the Wizards to win that series since Kyrie Irving wouldn't be out there, and neither would Marcus Smart. There's no way the Celtics win that series. I believe unless Brad Stevens draws up some type of wizardry, or is it like a flat out genius? But either way, we had the Magic facing off with the Knicks. I mean, these teams are terrible. The Magic won this one 97-73. You had Aaron Gordon with 7 points, 4 rebounds. Mario Hezonja had 19 points, 6 rebounds. Vucevic had 11 points, 10 rebounds. And then for the Knicks, you had Tim Hardaway with 16 points, 8 rebounds. Kyle O'Quinn got the start in this one, 13 points, 12 rebounds. And then you had Trey Burke with 15 points, 4 assists, shot 7 of 13. Next up, we had the Charlotte Hornets facing off with the Chicago Bulls, and bad win by the Bulls here. You got to start losing these games. The Bulls won 120-114. For the Hornets, you had Marvin Williams with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 6 of 8. Dwight Howard had 23 points, 17 rebounds. Nicholas Batum had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Kemba Walker struggled in this one, really. 9 points, 4 assists. Only took 11 shots, hit 4 of them. 1 of 6 from the three-point line. And then off the bench, you had Malik Monk with 21 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot 8 of 15, 5 of 10 from the three-point line. Really hope Malik Monk is starting to put it together, because if so, he's going to be a very good player for the Charlotte Hornets team. For Chicago, you had Larry Markkinen with 24 points, 7 rebounds, shot 8 of 14, 5 of 6 from the three-point line. That dude's going to be a stud going forward. Justin Holiday had 19 points, shot 7 of 16, 4 of 9 from the three-point line. Bobby Portis had 16 points, 6 rebounds, and then you had Jeremy Grant with 13 points, shot 4 of 8, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Can't forget about Sean Kilpatrick, had 21 points, shot 7 of 17, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Like I said, the Bulls won that one, 120-114. Then we had the Rockets facing off with the Washington Wizards, and the Rockets won this one 120-104. For the Wizards, you had Markieff Morris with 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. John Wall only had 9 points in this one, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 3 of 10. Bradley Beal had 27 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 10 of 15. And then for the Rockets, you had Clint Capella with 21 points, 10 rebounds, shot 9 of 10. Chris Paul didn't shoot the ball well at all in this one, 3 of 11 from the field, 2 of 9 from the three-point line, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. James Harden had 38 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, shot 12 of 18. And then off the bench, you had Gerald Green with 16 points, shot 5 of 9, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. Like I said, all right, this Wizards team is very capable of knocking off whoever they play in the first round. And I think between the Celtics, Cavs, and Raptors, I think that the Cavs would be the toughest team for them to knock off, but the Raptors and Celtics, I could definitely see them winning those series, especially against the Celtics, all right? The Celtics, if they had Kyrie Irving, that'd be a different story. Even if they had Marcus Smart, that might be a different story, but it's just the fact of you're throwing out Terry Rozier to play point guard, starting point guard. Yes, he's played well, but it's just a matter of he hasn't been the starting point guard for this playoff team at all in his career, all right? You got Al Horford, who will probably play well. You kind of need guys like, you need Jason Tatum to step up in order for them to have a chance. But I could see the Wizards winning that series in 6 if we're being real here. But anyways, we'll see about it. As for the Golden State Warriors, they faced off with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Warriors won this one 111-107. Draymond had only 5 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, did not hit a shot in this one. Kevin Durant had 34 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. You had Klay Thompson with 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shot 9 of 19. And then for the Thunder, Carmelo Anthony, overrated. 12 points, 8 rebounds, shot 4 of 16, 0 of 9 from the three-point line. Paul George had 20 points, 8 rebounds, shot 5 of 19, 3 of 9 shooting from the three-point line. And you had Russell Westbrook, who always shows up whenever it's the Warriors now. 14 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 15 of 26, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. It's got to be pretty frustrating to see that. You're playing, obviously, against your rival, and you put up that amount of points, play that well, and it's just the other two guys that are supposed to help you just don't show up whatsoever. Right? Paul George, after the game, I believe, said that he's got some mechanical problem with his shooting stroke, and it just feels weird when he's shooting. OKC's getting bounced first round. There's no doubt about it. Let's see. They're currently the 6th seed. Half game up on the Timberwolves, a game up on the New Orleans Pelicans, who are in the 1 seed, and they're only a game and a half up on the Nuggets. I got to double check the Thunder schedule, but they really need to put it together. All right. As for the Warriors, I mean, just business as usual there. The Thunder would be, I guess, a little difficult matchup if Paul George and Carmelo Anthony were to be able to play basketball once again the way that they've been known to. But it's just a matter of, let's see, the Thunder, they're the 6th seed, so they'd be playing the Trailblazers. The Timberwolves would be playing the Warriors. And I still think that if the Timberwolves end up making the 7th seed, then it's going to be real tough for the Warriors to make it out of that series. I still think they do, but like I said, I just think it'd be tough. All right, but anyways, we had the Portland Trailblazers facing off with the Dallas Mavericks, and Dallas won this one, 115-109. For the Trailblazers, you had Damian Lillard with 29 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 6 of 20, 2 of 10 from the three-point line. CJ McCollum had 16 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 7 of 18, 0 of 5 from the three-point line. You had Joseph Nurkic with 15 points, 13 rebounds, shot 7 of 8. And then for the Mavericks, you had Harrison Barnes with 15 points, 3 rebounds, shot 5 of 14. Dirk had 14 points, 4 rebounds. You had Dennis Smith Jr. with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, shot 8 of 16. Then J.J. Barea had 15 points, 5 assists, shot 6 of 9. Once again, the Mavericks won that one, 115-109. For the next game, we had the Denver Nuggets facing off with the Indiana Pacers, and Denver won this one, 107-104. For the Pacers, you had Victor Oladipo with 25 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 10 of 19. Miles Turner only had 9 points in this one. You had Thaddeus Young with 15 points, 10 rebounds. For the Nuggets, you had Paul Millsap with 14 points, 7 rebounds. Will Barton had 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Jamal Murray had 12 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. And then you had Nikola Jokic with 30 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 11 of 17, 4 6 from the three-point line. Like I said, the Nuggets won that one, 107-104. Currently a half game back of the Pelicans for that 8th spot. It'd be a real shame if the Pelicans didn't end up making the playoffs. We had the Lakers facing off with the Utah Jazz, and the Jazz won this one, 117-110. For the Lakers, you had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope with 28 points, 5 rebounds, shot 8 of 14, 5 of 9 from the three-point line. Brook Lopez had 11 points. You had Kyle Kuzma with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and then Julius Randle had 12 points, 12 rebounds. For the Jazz, you had Ricky Rubio with 31 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell had 26 points, 6 rebounds. Rudy Gobert had 12 points, 16 rebounds. And then off the bench, you had Jay Crowder with 12 points, shot 3 of 9, 3 of 7 from the three-point line. Like I said, the Jazz won that one, 117-110. Then we had the Kings facing off with the Phoenix Suns. One team won and lost at the same time. That would be the Suns. They won this game 97-94, but you want to keep that record. You want to keep losing because of the fact that you want that top pick for A. For the Kings, you had Willie Cauley-Stein with 18 points, 7 rebounds. Let's see, De'Aaron Fox had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Bogdan Bogdanovic had 22 points, 4 assists. And then for the Suns, you had Josh Jackson with 28 points, 6 rebounds. Tyler Ulis, he had 13 points, 9 assists in that one. All right, for the final game of the night, big game, big win for the Clippers here. They beat the Spurs 113-110. For the Spurs, you had LaMarcus Aldridge with 35 points, 9 rebounds. Patty Mills had 17 points. And then off the bench, you had Rudy Gay with 13 points, 5 rebounds. And Brian Forbes, I think his name was, 12 points, 4 assists. For the Clippers, you had Tobias Harris with 31 points, 9 rebounds, shot 11 of 19. Austin Rivers had 18 points. DeAndre Jordan had 10 points, 17 rebounds. And then off the bench, you had Montrezl Harrell with 16 points, 8 rebounds. And then Lou Williams had 22 points, 3 assists, shot 8 of 20, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Like I said, big win for the Clippers there. Currently a game and a half back of the Pelicans for that 8th spot. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking about Brandon Cooks going to the Rams, give my thoughts on that. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far, we've only just talked about yesterday's NBA games, recapped those, gave the scores and stats, as I always do. And now we're going to be talking about Brandon Cooks going to the Rams, talking about what they gave up, what the Patriots got for it, and pretty much just give a little overview on it all. All right, so let's get into it. So the Rams, obviously, as we know, were, I guess, trying to trade for Odell Beckham Jr., and there's a rumor going around that they were trying to trade for Rob Gronkowski, and I guess there is a rumor going around that they still might be, which I doubt it happens just because of the fact that Adam Schefter said that it wasn't. Adam Schefter is the say-all, be-all in the NFL. All right, pretty much knows everything that goes on. But anyways, Brandon Cook, like I said, now playing for the Rams. Rams gave up their 23rd pick in the first round and a 6th-round pick to the Patriots for Cooks and a 4th-round pick, which a 4th-round pick is pretty decent value coming back. All right, and I'm just curious as to why, like how Brandon Cooks is still a first-rounder, I guess, like worthy of a first-rounder. Maybe it's just a matter of the Patriots knew the Rams were desperate and the Rams knew the price that they had to pay to get a guy like Odell Beckham Jr., and it's just a matter of rather they give up this first rather than the first and a bunch of other picks. But it's just a matter of, like, Cooks really didn't play well with the Patriots at all. All right, and it was probably just a matter of scheme fit, but your Patriots gave up a first-round pick for Cooks when they got him from the Saints, which was worth it, and now you're giving up, they're getting back a first-round pick for a guy who didn't even produce. All right, and I'm not even going as far to say that Cooks isn't going to work out for the Rams here, but I don't know, it's just good business by the Patriots as usual. But either way, Cooks now plays for the Rams, and that means they brought in Talib, Peters, Sue, and Cooks, obviously. Okay. And I think it's safe to say that these moves make the Rams the offseason champs. All right. Would you agree? I think so. Usually when you're the offseason champs, it doesn't work out for you in the regular season or for your season at all. All right. Usually something goes wrong. If we remember, I mean, the Eagles were offseason champs that one year. Vince Young called them the dream team. The Miami Dolphins have been offseason champs, I think, like 3 out of the last 5 years, and they have one playoff appearance to show for it, and they got brutally destroyed by the Steelers in that one. I mean, I can't remember exactly who hit Matt Moore during that game, but man, that was such a brutal hit. I think it might have been Ryder Shazier. Can't remember, but either way, Dolphins have never really had anything to show for it, and it's just a matter of usually being the offseason champs means that you're going to struggle. All right? But there is the whole thing where they did bring these players in, and they all brought them in because of the fact that they needed to fill needs. Secondary needed help. What did they do? You get Marcus Peters. You get Aqib Talib. You needed a number 1 receiver. What do? You go and you get a Brandon Cooks. All right? You did not need a defensive tackle, I believe. All right? I think that Ndamukong Suh was the luxury pickup. All right? The guy where it's pretty much, you know what? We got a good team right here. How about... And even then, so, like I said, it's a luxury pickup. But on the defensive line, I guess you could say that you really can't have enough talent on the D-line. You could always bolster it. So I guess I do agree with it there. So I think this is kind of different from what the Eagles did, different from what Miami did, because of the fact that they did fill holes on the team. All right? And even then, so it's not like this is a brand new team or anything like that. You just added 4 guys. All right? The rest are all guys that you've brought up and developed. So now it's just a matter of what's next for the Rams, I guess you could say. Are they going to go and maybe possibly still and try and trade for a guy like Rob Gronkowski, which I highly doubt even happens because of the fact that I don't think the Rams have anything else to give up. All right, are you just going to wait for the draft and fix up the linebacking position there, which they're going to need to do? Or, I don't know. What else can they possibly do? One thing I'm kind of curious to see, too, I need to figure out Brandon Cooks' contract numbers, but I know Peter's still on a rookie deal. Sue's only on a 1-year deal, and Talib's got making 11 this year, but I think there might be something where they can cut him next year, and they pretty much just be done with it. They don't have to pay him anything because of that. But, I mean, with the Rams, I'm just kind of curious to see how they're going to be able to... I think this is going to be Todd Gurley's 4th year, I believe. Obviously, you're going to need to extend him. Aaron Donald's going to need an extension. Goff is going to need an extension in 2 years, possibly even next year. This is Goff's 3rd year, actually. If he plays well, you give him the extension after this year. All right, but either way, that's a lot of guys they got to pay. All right, and that's just, like I said, it's just with the Rams. I hope that they do have a long-term plan, and it's not just a matter of we need to win the Super Bowl now. All right? Because of the fact that win now mentality, like the NFL, really, you need to plan for the long term, but if you have the opportunity to win now, you have to plan for that too at the same time, which is a bit difficult there. But, I mean, the Rams, they got to be a top 2 team in the NFC. You could argue that they are the best team in the NFC. I'm not going to go that far just because of the fact that I'm not ready to take Philly off of that pedestal, I guess, as far as being the best team in the NFC, because of the fact that they just came off of a Super Bowl win, and we haven't even played it down yet, all right? Even if they were going into the season with Nick Foles, I still think that Philly would be the best team as of right now, all right? Nick Foles showed that, I mean, he could play well with this Eagles team, and this Eagles team showed that they can win big games with him. So, either way there, I mean, with the Patriots, obviously, they have 2 first-round picks now. I believe they have, like, the 31st pick and then the 23rd pick, all right? What exactly are the Patriots going to do with those picks? Honestly? Like, what could they possibly do? Okay, those first round picks are kind of useless to them if you're just going to use them to draft a player, because of the fact that they're trying to win now. Brady's got a few more years left, and it's just a matter of whoever you draft with those 2 picks. I don't think, unless there's some kind of world-class all-star talent, they're not going to really help you get to the goal you're trying to get to. All right. I highly doubt that no matter who they take in the first round, whether it be the 23rd pick or the 30th pick, they're not going to get any real value there, because of the fact that those guys aren't really going to be helping you get towards the Super Bowl, because of the fact that they still need to develop. All right. Yesterday I was talking on the football show about the trade because that's when it came out, but I was talking about how maybe it's possible that, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, that the Patriots could use those 2 first-round picks and trade up with a team like the Browns, who have the 4th pick possibly. All right, and that's very unlike the Patriots, so I highly doubt it happens. But it is a possibility, okay? We can't rule out anything with the Patriots right now. And one thing I found out, too, before I started the show is that they signed Brian Hoyer to a 3-year deal. His contract ends in 2020. What are they thinking? It makes no sense to me. The Patriots, let me tell you, are going to be a very bad team once Tom Brady retires. All right, and I understand that Brian Hoyer isn't going to become like a full-time starter for them or anything like that once he retires, but it's a matter of you have your backup quarterback already. I think that kind of takes him, I don't know, it's kind of weird with the Patriots. Like I said, I have no clue what they're doing, but I kind of feel like having a guy like Brian Hoyer out there who's locked up for multiple years kind of takes away the fact that they probably won't be drafting a quarterback in the first round. And yeah, they hit on Jimmy Garoppolo when whatever round they drafted him. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th round, something like that. But it's just a matter of how often do you think the Patriots could hit on a guy like that? All right. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is going to become a great quarterback. And New England really messed up. All right, because, you know, it goes back to the whole ESPN story with Brady not being happy about Garoppolo being there and pretty much Garoppolo being the guy that's going to take over. All right, the Patriots really messed that one up, okay? It should have never been up to Brady. I don't care how many Super Bowls he's won. I don't care what he's done for the franchise. Robert Kraft should have listened to Bill Belichick and should have kept Jimmy Garoppolo, okay? People are going to say, oh, that's not the case at all. Well, tell me this, okay? If you think that Tom Brady didn't voice his concerns or wasn't happy about Garoppolo being there and that's why they traded Garoppolo, why would you trade Jacoby Brissett too? Okay? You traded Jacoby Brissett in the offseason, who was a good quarterback and was a pretty solid quarterback for the Colts this season. You kept Garoppolo, traded him, before the trade deadline, I believe it was? Why? That makes no sense. Why would you trade both really good backup quarterbacks? Okay? Because Jacoby Brissett is better than Brian Hoyer. There's no doubt about it. Okay? It makes no sense as to why you trade 2 very solid options who could eventually, either one could take over from Tom Brady when he retires. But they got rid of both of them, and now you lock up Brian Hoyer for 3 years. You can't tell me that there wasn't no tension in the Patriots organization. All right? There's no way that Bill Belichick's all, yeah, I'm going to trade Jacoby Brissett, and I'm going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo for nothing, for a high second-round pick. 1 pick. All right? There's something going on there, but it's just with the Patriots. I mean, it's just a matter of when are they thinking to draft a quarterback? How are they going to get a quarterback? Like, what's going on here? All right? They have 2 first-round picks for something. if they use both of those picks on their own and draft 2 players there, I will be shocked. All right, I think that's the least likely thing to happen. I think they're going to package it up for something. Odell Beckham Jr., his value right now, as far as what the Giants have said, is 2 first-round picks. The Patriots have 2 first-round picks. Maybe it works there. Odell Beckham Jr. with the Patriots would be a monster. The guy's already top 5 player with this version of Eli Manning we got. All right, how about with Tom Brady, the guy who's gotten better as he's gotten older? Maybe it'd be a good fit there. All right, but either way, just wanted to talk briefly about the trade. Brandon Cooks to the Rams. I like it. I think it makes them the second best team in the NFC right now. Like I said, I can't put them over the Eagles, but either way, there's that. Let's see, what are we going to be talking about for the next segment? I think we're going to keep it a surprise, so stay tuned for the next segment, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. Your favorite podcast, my favorite podcast, everyone's favorite podcast. All right, so far today we've talked Cooks going to the Rams. We've talked yesterday's NBA games, recap those. And for this one, I want to stick with football a bit. All right, I want to talk a lot of football today. So let's talk football. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Patriots and Cooks and all that, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. Any other thoughts that I have, I guess we'll do that. But RG3, all right. He is back in the league. Going to be signing a backup deal with the Ravens, or signed it already. It's already been officially announced. Signed a 1-year deal with them. And with RG3, he came in that draft with... That was a pretty good quarterback draft, too. I think it was Russell Wilson, Ryan Tannehill, Luck, RG3, and then Kirk Cousins was in that draft. I think I might need to double-check quarterbacks taken in that draft. What was it, 2012, I think it was? Yeah, so... Yeah, I'm gonna, as I'm talking, I'm gonna search for the quarterbacks taken in that draft. But with RG3, he's had a very, very odd career. All right, was a good quarterback with the Redskins when he first started out as a rookie. Okay, and I think I got the 2012 draft class right here. Actually, let me get over that. Let me see what we got going on here. I think there was a lot of good quarterbacks. All right, let me see. We had drafted quarterbacks in 2012. All right. It was Andrew Luck, RG3, Tannehill, Russell Wilson, Nick Foles, Kirk Cousins. All right. Those are the guys that actually, I think you could say, and we might just have to talk about the 2012 draft class right now. But with that draft class, I think it's safe to say that, I don't know, like Tannehill, Griffin, Luck, Wilson, and Foles, Cousins, I think we could say that those turned out to be pretty good quarterbacks, okay? Luck has dealt with injuries, but when he's out there, he's a top 5 quarterback. Griffin, if the Redskins knew how to properly fix up a field, then he'd probably still be playing for them, okay? Russell Wilson obviously has a Super Bowl. Nick Foles has a Super Bowl. Tannehill he's not great, but I think you could say he's a good quarterback. All right, so I think they've all kind of shown that they're all good quarterbacks in the league. And then the guys that haven't worked out really are Brock Osweiler. Let's see, Ryan Lindley I think is a backup quarterback somewhere because I know that name sounds familiar. B.J. Coleman is a guy who got drafted by the Green Bay Packers. I think he's out. He's definitely out the league. Chandler Harnish got drafted from Northern Illinois by Indianapolis. I'm not sure if he's still on the team. Maybe he's a practice squad guy or whatever. Like I said, you got Brock Osweiler, then Brandon Whedon, who somehow found himself a backup job with the Texans. All right, and Colin Kaepernick still can't seem to find a job, and it's not even about anything else. It's just, do you really think Brandon Whedon's a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick? I highly doubt it. All right. Let's see, any other quarterbacks that came out that year? I think those are pretty much the top ones. But anyways, like I said, RG3 came out in that draft class, took his team to the playoffs, I believe, in his rookie year, I think it was. It might have been the second year. But either way, they go to the playoffs. I think that was the year where they played the Seahawks. That was kind of like the beginning of Richard Sherman being a loud person. And RG3 gets hurt in that game, I believe. Okay? Since then, RG3 has never really gotten back to the player that he was, and took last year off. All right, 2016 was the last year he played with the Browns. I think he was the last quarterback to win a game for the Browns also. I have to double check that stat. But either way, it's just with RG3 now going to the Ravens, it's like, I think this could possibly, it's like with Tiger Woods, okay? Tiger Woods came back this year, and he's looked really good because of the fact that now he's 100% healthy, okay? With RG3, we know that he has the ability to be a great quarterback in the league. And yes, I say great because when he was playing and he wasn't getting hurt with the Redskins, he was one of the best he was a top 10 quarterback, I should say. All right, let me see right here. So from 2012, he threw for over 3,200 yards, had 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. 2013 had 3,200 yards again, 16 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 2014 didn't really play too much. Sat out 2015, goes to the Browns 2016, doesn't play much because he gets hurt there too. Had 886 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. All right, so he sat out the 2015 years and 2017 years. All right, with RG3, here's the way it'll work with the Ravens. Okay, and I'm kind of iffy about it because of the fact that obviously we have Joe Flacco there. Joe Flacco is making a lot of money. Joe Flacco does not play like a quarterback who should be making that kind of money. All right. The team can go out, players go out and say, oh yeah, Joe's our quarterback, all that, but there's no way in the world they actually believe that Joe Flacco is worth what he's getting or is even good enough to get half of what he's got. All right. With Joe Flacco, obviously he's going to be the starting quarterback going into the season. There's no doubt. All right. But the Ravens have taken a step back. Okay, and I'm trying to find Joe Flacco's contract right here because it's got to be something ridiculous. So he's got 3 years left. I think he had 44 guaranteed. Let me see if I can find his contract right here, like his actual contract, not how many years he's got left. Let's see. So he signed, let me see, let me get his contract right here, if I could find it real quick. So he signed from 2013 to 2018, signed a 6-year, $120 million deal. 29 of it was guaranteed, got 29 at the signing bonus. All right. And his new contract is worth, I think, 3 years, $66 million, $40 million signing bonus, 44 guaranteed. That is ridiculous for the way he's played. All right, so I mean, this year, 2018, is gonna be making $12 million, and it's not like I don't think the Ravens I think can get out of the deal in 2020, but he'd still cost $8 million against the cap. So with RG3, I think it's a matter of, like, for him to get playing time, it'd really take Joe Flacco to just be really bad, but I just don't see it happening now that I see that Joe Flacco the Ravens can't get out of his contract really until 2020. All right. And I think he can't get cut. Yeah, he can't get cut in 2018, 2019. So with that, it's just a matter of, the Ravens kind of really screwed themselves on this Joe Flacco contract because of the fact that the guy just hasn't been good. All right. And going back to RG3, he's going to be the backup. And I don't really see a way where, unless Joe Flacco gets hurt, where Joe Flacco gets benched now. Because of the fact that it's actually kind of possible, because I remember the Ravens owner came out and said that he did have thoughts at one point in time last season to think about firing John Harbaugh because of the fact that they didn't make playoffs. If he's already thought about that and they don't make playoffs again, then I think Harbaugh's gone. And the Ravens really aren't even the second best team in that division anymore. I think you got to say the Browns are. All right, and as weird as that is to say, because it's the fact it's the Browns, I do feel comfortable saying that they are the second best team in that division. All right, and it's just with the Ravens. What if Flacco keeps playing bad? You're not winning games, and you got to make the change, right? You would have to go to RG3. And with RG3, I'm kind of curious to see, because of the fact that I'm not sure, like, there's no one that's ever going to trade for Joe Flacco. All right. And he's going to cost too much if you were to cut him before 2019. He cost $16 million against the cap. So now I guess it's just a matter of RG3 this season. He's not going to be with the Ravens after this season. I think it's a matter of, you got to hope that Joe Flacco stinks to the point where you can get some reps. You show the league that you're still playing well. You're healthy. You're ready to go. And you possibly look for a starting gig the season after. All right. This is kind of like a tryout for RG3, I feel. All right. And I'm kind of surprised that the Ravens signed RG3. I was kind of surprised at the fact that RG3 even got signed. Honestly, I didn't really think that this was like big news or anything like that. But if you remember back, I mean, RG3 was a very good quarterback. But it's just a matter of, this is a trial year for him. All right. If he does well, and he's going to get his time, I think he has to. There's no way. And in football, it's just kind of weird. When you have these big name backup quarterbacks, there's always a point in time in the season where they find themselves on the field somehow, some way. And I do want to see RG3 come back and play again. Okay, I want to see him start for some team. I want to see the old RG3, because of the fact that RG3 was a very good quarterback at one point in time. All right, but either way, we'll see about it. I actually want to take a look at that 2012 draft classes again. Let's talk about the draft classes as we finish up this segment. So like I said, we had Luck, Griffin, Tannehill, Wilson, Foles, Cousins. Let's rank them. All right, so number one, I'm going to go, and we're going to go based off how the career has gone so far, okay? I'm going to go Wilson number one. I'd go Luck number two. Foles at 3. Cousins at 4. Tannehill at 5. And then Griffin at 6. And as far as like pure ability, as far as my rankings there go, I think it'd be Luck would be the best quarterback as far as ability out of that draft class. And then I'd go Wilson. I'd go Cousins. Tannehill, Cousins, Foles, Tannehill, and then RG3. All right, because like I said, as far as ability, Tannehill's shown what he could do. Foles has shown us what he could do. Cousins, obviously, I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Dude's getting paid all kinds of money, obviously, so there's that. This might actually be one of the best draft classes, quarterback draft classes of all time. I think there's the 83 draft class that's pretty good. I think Jim Kelly came out in that draft class. You had Dan Marino and a couple of other quarterbacks I can't remember. But either way, RG3 playing for the Ravens. All right. That's going to be quite entertaining, I guess you could say. Matt Castle also got a backup deal with the Detroit Lions, and Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick's not getting signed. It's not going to happen. He'll never play a down again in the NFL or sign with a team again in the NFL. I'd say, if I had to put money on it, I say that Johnny Manziel gets a deal with some NFL team before Colin Kaepernick does. And that's just kind of crazy to say, because of the fact that at one point, Colin Kaepernick was a quarterback who started in the Super Bowl and was a quarterback who got his team down on the final drive to the 1-2 yard line and had a chance to win it. All right. Kaepernick, people will point back to his last couple of years with San Francisco. One of the biggest misconceptions is that Blaine Gabbert beat him out. Whoever thinks that or feels that way needs to go back and double check, because of the fact that the only reason Blaine Gabbert started that season, starting out, was because Kaepernick was dealing with a shoulder injury he was coming back from, still trying to rehab from it. All right. He didn't lose the starting job to Blaine Gabbert. He was just injured. All right. And if you check the stats, his stats were pretty good when he came out. And people will point to wins and losses. That's lazy. Okay. Go look at the roster he had there. No one would have won with that roster. And then people say, oh, Jimmy G won. Yeah, Jimmy G, the players he was playing with were actually good. They were different players. So with Kaepernick, he's never going to play it down again. It's wrong. But either way, that's the way it is. All right. But like I said, RG3, going to be interesting to see how he gets playing time with the Ravens, if he does at all. All right, because I'm sure RG3 thinks that he can still be a starting quarterback in this league. So either way, though, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to talk about anything else going on in the world of sports. We had Champions League going on today. And like I said, we'll talk about anything else. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we've talked yesterday's NBA games, recapped those, talked about Brandon Cooks going to the Rams, and we talked about RG3 making his way back into the league. For this segment, we're going to talk about everything else going on in the world of sports. All right, so let's just get into it. Let's talk sports. Let's talk Champions League. All right, we had Liverpool knocking off Manchester City 3-0 today. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scored, Mohamed Salah scored, and then you had Sadio Mane scoring. For Barca, they won 4-1. I think Titi scored. Who else? I gotta double check who else scored for in that game too. But it's just a matter of, no surprises with Barcelona really. Probably expected them to beat down on Roma the way they did. Surprised though with Liverpool and Man City. I expected that to be more of a game. I expected Manchester City to actually show up and realize that they had a Champions League game to play, but I don't know. Liverpool right now is just playing the better soccer right now. All right. Obviously, Manchester City is going to be winning the Premier League and by a wide margin, but with Liverpool, they have been playing extremely great as of late. Mohamed Salah has pretty much been that guy where you give him the ball and he's going to score. All right. So with City, I think it is, again, they are winning the Premier League, so you got to look at it that way too, but I think it is a bit disappointing that they're going to be knocked out of the Champions League against this English team. All right. And people are thinking, oh, there's still a second leg to play. It's over. Unless Salah is hurt, because he did come out injured today, but I think he's going to end up being fine. But let's say that he's hurt and he doesn't play next week or whenever they play again. I still take Liverpool. It would just be a matter of Manchester City throwing out every single attacker they can in the starting 11 and trying to go against that Liverpool defense, which it's possible. I guess there's a chance because Liverpool really hasn't had a great defense in years. All right, obviously they shut out Manchester City today, but it's a matter of they're going back to Manchester next week, I think it is, and it's going to be a different atmosphere. One thing that hurts Manchester City is that they didn't get any away goals in this one. All right, Liverpool score once, and it's over next week. Manchester City literally need to beat Liverpool by either 3-0 to get to the extra time, or I think they'd have to beat them by at least, they beat them 4-1, 5-2, stuff like that. All right. So it's going to be tough. Manchester City's defense is going to have to show up. Their attacking is going to have to show up. And they're going to have to hope that Liverpool just pretty much decides we're not scoring and we're going to play terrible defense. All right. But anyways, I'm happy about it. I'm fine with it. I want to see Liverpool versus Madrid, whether it be in the semifinal or final. Preferably the semifinal, I guess, because of the fact that I'd like to see Barcelona versus Madrid in the Champions League final. I feel like we've waited so long for that, and we get so close to it, but it just never really happens. All right? But either way, we'll see about it. I think it's going to be Bayern advancing. It'll be Bayern, Madrid, Barca, and Liverpool advancing. And for Liverpool, this is huge. All right? This is exactly what they needed. This is kind of like the confidence booster that you need when they advance to the semis. And if, let's say, they play well in the semis, maybe Klopp decides, hey, we'll go buy some defenders instead of putting out what we put out now. Because the guys they have out there now have been playing pretty well. But eventually, you got Van Dijk, you got Robertson out there. And I can't remember who else to play on the other side. But either way, you do want to bolster it a little bit more. All right? So it's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool fare against either. They're going to be playing a Bayern Munich, a Barcelona, or a Madrid. It's going to be tough, and this is good for the English teams too, because of the fact that you have a historic team like Liverpool out there. Manchester City isn't really historic. They've only really been a big, decent team since the late 2000s. All right, we're never really much before that. We're an afterthought in the city of Manchester. But either way, good on Liverpool beating Manchester City 3-0. Barcelona took care of business as usual. Bayern Munich's the only one that's really got something to worry about, I guess, since they're only up 2-1 on aggregate. But I think they did get those 2 goals on the in Spain, so they got 2 away goals. So I think they're pretty safe there. But either way, going to be interesting to see. If it goes the way I think it will, I do like the 4 teams that will be remaining. So we'll see about it. Anyways, let's see what else we got going on in the world of sports right now. All right. Mentioned the Cavs earlier. Talked about how I'm a little bit scared of them. All right. Think that they're starting to pick it up. You got Ty Lue, who's coming back tomorrow, which is Thursday. The Cavs, Kevin Love, since he's gotten back, has been lights out. LeBron has been lights out all season. And now it's just a matter of, I guess, getting everyone else on board. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to see how well they play once they get Ty Lue back. They're even going to play better. So, yeah, just wanted to mention them briefly. I'm going to talk more about them actually on the GSMC basketball podcast, which is going to be coming out today too. So after you're done checking out this one, check out that one. Let's see, anything else going on? We got the Masters going on this week. I believe Tiger is still the favorite to win it. The ratings for the Masters are going to be ridiculous, I feel. All right, do we have any other big games, like any big games going on this weekend? Anything to kind of compare it to the Masters? I don't think so, really. The Masters is going to dominate television. But, yeah, I have to double-check if there's any big games going on this weekend. I doubt it. We got college basketball's done. I'm curious to see, depending on how the Masters do. Let's say that Tiger Woods is in contention to win pretty close on Sunday. I'm curious to see how that Sunday of the Masters would do as far as TV ratings compared to, I guess, maybe Game 1 of the Finals, Game 7 of the Finals, maybe a Game 7 between the Rockets and Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I really hope that's what ends up happening just because of the fact that we compare it 1-1, see what's better than what. I'm sure it'd be Tiger because of the fact that he's Tiger. All right, you can't defeat Tiger at all. But, Ohtani, the player for the Angels, hit a 3-run bomb yesterday, I believe it was. Let's see, who are they playing today? I think they might be. I'm going to double check there. But either way, it looked like he might be the real deal. It's still pretty early, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, but in his first start against the A's, he had 6 strikeouts, did give up a 3-run bomb, but really didn't give up much after that. So yeah, they're not playing tonight. Or actually, they are playing. They're playing right now. They're losing to the Indians 1-0. But yeah, anyways, yesterday I believe it was, he had a 3-run bomb. So it's looking like he might be the real deal. All right. So there's that. Let's see. Anything else going on in the world of sports? I don't think so. So let's just make my picks for tonight's NBA games. All right. So first up, we got the Philadelphia 76ers facing off with the Pistons. Pistons are a good home team. Sixers are just a good basketball team. I got to go with the Sixers. All right. They're playing real good basketball. Have a possibility of finishing with 50 wins there. So we'll see about it. But anyways, I got the Sixers winning that one. We got the Mavericks facing off with the Magic. I'm going to go with the Mavericks. I really like Dennis Smith Jr. Yesterday, he got his steal. Did one of those where he bounces it off the floor, jumps up, and hits an alley-oop, I guess, to himself. That was a nice little dunk that he did against, who did they play yesterday? Yeah, against the Trailblazers. That's kind of like the cherry on top right there. So I got the Mavericks winning that one. We got the Heat facing off with the Hawks. He got to win these games, and I think they're going to, so I got them knocking off the Hawks. We got the Raptors facing off with the Celtics. I'm not sure if Terry Rozier is playing, so I'm going to go with the Raptors in this one. They should win this one pretty easily. Actually, I don't know about easily. I can't say that anymore because of the fact that Brad Stevens has these dudes out here playing well. We got the Grizzlies facing off with the Pelicans. New Orleans needs these wins. They need these wins definitely big time. Can't give it up. They got to, so I'm going to go with them winning this one. And then we got the Spurs facing off with the Lakers. I'm going to go with the Spurs in this one. So I don't think I have one upset pick to win on tonight. It's pretty easy slate of games, I guess you could say. Actually, the Mavericks. The Mavericks over the Magic are my upset picks. So to recap, I got the Sixers winning, the Mavericks winning, the Heat, the Raptors, Pelicans, and the Spurs. So that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Today we talked yesterday's basketball games. We talked Brandon Cooks going to the Rams. We talked RG3 being back in the league. And then for this segment, we talked Champions League, mentioned the Cavs briefly, and then we made my picks for tonight's NBA games. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back tomorrow, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmc.com. GSMCpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.